as the world's athletes head home, the growing question for the capital is what happens next. London told the IOC that the Games would leave a legacy. A big word, an even bigger promise. But what form will that legacy take? How long will it last? Piers Hopkirk reports now on the inspiration we might get from the 1984 Olympics in Los Angeles.
Ask these young basketball players about the impact of the Olympics, and one word keeps cropping up.
I'm really inspired. I am really speechless right now. I want to be in the 2016.
I was very inspired, actually. It's like when I see the people like getting medals, it's like I want one of those.
But inspiration needs nurturing. The Friendford clubs in Ilford, where they play, runs with just one paid member of staff and 85 volunteers. It's grassroots clubs like this that are looking for some long-term legacy.
It's vital that sports is invested in, especially in the grassroots level, and getting more of these young people, as you see here, playing and enjoying the sport and also making friends and the social benefits of that.
So today the call came for the creation of a dedicated fund for grassroots sport.
We think it's really important that there's a new stream of money for community-based sport to increase participation, to get young people involved. What we're arguing for is a new foundation supported by government but with other funders coming in to support places like this.
The inspiration comes from another Olympic city, Los Angeles. LA took leftover cash from the Olympics and put it into an investment fund, the dividends paying for community sports projects. The fund's president is now urging our government to find the cash to follow its example.
Youth sports is not expensive. It's a great investment. Imagine just investing, maybe £80 per kid in a program. And your return is a young person who's more likely to be a great citizen, a young person who will care about his or her own peers, a young person who will want to aspire to something higher. That's a very good investment.
The LA84 Foundation started with an endowment from the Games of $93 million. Since then, though, it's spent more than $200 million in the community. It's helped more than 2.5 million youngsters and provided grants to over 1,000 organisations. A similar fund here could mean long-term security for clubs like this.
With them coming here, they get to develop new skills, new life skills, and they get to be engaged within the community, like they're giving something back to the community.
It's a good way for people to get involved in sport and just to get off the streets, basically.
For people here, the benefits of community sport are clear. The question now, though, is there the political will to create a legacy for them in the long term? Piers Hopkirk, London Tonight, Ilford.
Now, many of you will recognise Alan Abrahamson, who's joined me in the studio, the award-winning sports writer from the States, now reported on 7 Olympics. Before the Games, we had a chat, and you described our fears about transport and security as normal. How would you describe the London Games?
I would say they were best ever. Slam dunk, best ever.
We like to hear that. What was the standout element then?
Well, for me, the standout element on the field of play was David Rudisha's world record in the 800 meters. Here was a guy without a pacer who went ahead and broke the world record. And not only that, he took all the other guys in the race to personal best. That's just amazing. Even talking about it now brings chills down my spine.
And in terms of the staging of the Games, why were they better than Athens, Beijing or Sydney?
Well, I think everybody who's done this for a living would tell you that the previous best was Barcelona and then Sydney. But Barcelona's 20 years ago, and then Sydney was probably the best ever before this. But Sydney was a parochial place, and I mean that without any disrespect to my Australian friends. But Sydney's in a place of 20 million people. London is one of the capitals of the world. Sydney happened before 9/11. Now you layer on the security apparatus. Here we had the security issues, we had the transport issues, even the weather worked. Everything here worked. London 2012 set new benchmarks for what happened in real time and what's going to happen legacy-wise. It's brilliant, frankly.
Sydney, as you say, previously regarded as the best ever, but their medal haul this time round, the Australians, not their best, and they say there's been sort of collapse in sports funding. How do we make sure in Britain that the legacy carries us forward and that Britain goes from strength to strength?
I think what you need to do is refer exactly to what the report prior to this one showed. In Los Angeles, you take the money and you have to invest it in youth sports. You've got to invest in young people. It's the only thing that works. In your country, you actually have government funding. In my country, we don't. I would say if your political leaders have the political will, you've got to invest in young people. It's the only thing that works.
All right, very quickly, what next for you, Alan?
back home, and you know what? In 18 months, we'll all be in Russia and Sochi. It's going to be here like this.
All right, Alan, thank you so much for coming to talk to us again. Safe journey home.
Thank you so much.